Hello everybody. Welcome back to another Vlogmas. Today I have something kind of neat to show you. I decided I wanted to do a craft for our grandmother, and I am going to paint this today and tell you a little bit about some family traditions that I have in my family growing up. So this came from Hobby Lobby, and this is a Creatology mug. There was a Santa and there was, I believe, a reindeer. So it comes with all the things that you will need to paint this, and then once you have it the way that you want it, you will actually cure this in your oven. And the instructions are on the side here. So it says we get 1 mug, 4 paint pots, what else? 1 brush. Well, I've got a little bit of water here. So let's dive right in. There is our paint brush and instructions. This reminds me of stuff I would use as a child. So what do we have? Protect your clothing, work area, okay, yes. Instructions before painting, yes, okay. Shake or stir included paints, we can do that. We will allow it to dry for 24 hours. We will place it in a cold oven and bake for 30 minutes at 360 degrees. We will turn off the oven and we will cure it for 3 hours before removing. We use pot holders and place on a cooling rack. Do not scrub with abrasives. I think we can handle that. All right. I did not bring a knife. That's okay. We don't need one. So I'm going to get started with some background information. So I grew up in the eastern part of Kentucky. Come from Irish descent on my dad's side, German descent on my mother's side, and also have some Cherokee blood as well. I don't really know what kind of design that I'm going to go for, but we're going to shake our paint and get started. Now, fortunately for me, both of my parents did remain married up until my mother was widowed when my dad passed away from renal cell carcinoma. Christmas was a big time for us. My dad, just so everyone knows, owned a milk business. He actually had a distributorship, so he would have the milk shipped in, and then he owned the trucks that would take it to the individual grocery stores or the stores. So he didn't bottle it, he actually had it brought to him prior to bottling. We're going to start with blue here, and the only day that Dad would not work would be Christmas Day. So Christmas was a big deal. I think I'm going to go blue around the top here. This is probably going to take forever, so please bear with me. I'm going to try not to take an hour to do this. Since my mom and dad were close to both sides of the family, we split our holidays. My dad's family lived on a farm out in the country, and we would typically do Christmas Eve at their house. Being out on the farm and being Irish, that lent itself to a few different things. One was having enough space to have a large, very large family. My dad had 7 brothers and 2 sisters. that meant that I had, I want to say something like 37-ish. Please don't quote me on this. I think it's 37 cousins though. Absolutely insane. Typical though for a mountain, if you will, a mountain family. Even though I know now these are not mountains. It's a plateau, the Cumberland Gap. So Christmas Eve, when my dad got home from work, got cleaned up, we would head up into the, what we called the mouth of the holler. So it wasn't all the way at the back end, which is the head of the holler, and basically have a big party. Now, Christmas Eve lent itself to mainly finger foods. So it was more like heavy hors d'oeuvres than it was full-on meals. What would usually happen a few days before? We had only one Christmas tree lot in the entire town. Very small town. There was 20,000-ish thousand, 23,000 people. And we would buy our Christmas tree and fireworks. So my childhood, my memories of having Christmas at my dad's, mom and dad's, was about fireworks. As soon as the sun set. So we would get up there, we would have our first round, if you will, of snacks, and then immediately go outside to play. And that's what it was. They played with these fireworks. And it was a ton of fun. I remember being burnt a few times. I remember having things chase me a few times as far as fireworks. But we didn't want to leave. Absolutely loved it. Got to see my dad and his brothers, basically act like kids. So that was fun. And fortunately, for whatever reason, we made it out. Everybody made it out alive and whole, and nobody got hurt too bad outside of some surface burns from the firecrackers. But that was a real special time. That was a big tradition. Had no idea whenever I became an adult and got out with other people and did other Christmas things with friends that other cultures didn't really do that. Some do. I know that now. I'm going to turn this around. But this one was a little bit more on the rare side. So anyway, that was a big one. I love that. I would love to do that again. I know being in a city is a little bit different when it comes to fireworks, but yeah, I think that was a real fun time. Treats, the treats, anything that stood out to me. Had an aunt who would make Buckeyes. For those of you who are from the Midwest, particularly Ohio, basically they're chocolate covered peanut butter balls. Loved those. I'm going to paint the scarf the same blue, and then we'll switch to a different color. What else? My mother makes great peanut butter fudge. We always had that. So again, it was more real. It's a lot of sweets. Honestly, it was. It was the 80s and 90s. But it was a great, great time. And we would come home. Kyle and I would immediately want to go to bed because Santa, right, is coming in the morning. And we would wake up. So the one tradition, I guess, when we were kids that we always did was we slept in the same bed on Christmas Eve. That was the only night. But it started out because my brother, being 4 years younger than I was, having to keep him asleep for as long as we possibly could, or to keep him from sneaking out of the bed to go see what was wrapped in under the tree. So anyway, that was another little tradition that it was forced upon on me at least, to keep my brother in bed. What else? Christmas morning we would get up, and one thing I always remember, yes, we got toys. Absolutely, we got toys, and gaming systems and things like that. But we always had some clothes, and whatever it was, some years it might be a jersey from our favorite player. As I got older, it might be a sweater or a nice shirt that we received. We would always wear that on that day. And on that day, we would go to my mother's mom and dad's. And they lived in the city of this town. And we would typically show up around noon, and everyone had to wear a new piece of clothing that they had received from someone. Now, this side of the family, we also would open up a gift when we got there because we had Secret Santa. So there's a Secret Santa on my mom's side of the family. So that was always fun to go and actually open up one more thing from someone. We had like a $20 limit, but one more thing from someone that we had no idea until we received the gift who it was from. Okay, I think this is kind of a quick job, but that's okay. It's handmade. Somebody will use it, or it will go into a Goodwill pile. All right, I think we are about finished with that. I'm going to set that down. Looks like I got some of it on my hands. Let's rinse our brush. Okay, so my mom's side of the family, we did a traditional dinner, and a traditional dinner in their mind was not a German dinner. It was, I'm going to use orange now, turkey, dressing, mashed potatoes, corn, green beans, homemade rolls that slowly became Parker House rolls, if any of you know what that is in the Midwest. And a whole bunch of desserts. My mom comes from a family that can bake. Now, she, unlike my dad, had 3 brothers and 7 sisters. So they both came from a very, very big family, which again gives me the opportunity of having another 3 dozen or so cousins on that side. We're just gonna move right along to the next color. This is purple. I think our buttons will be purple. All right. So we would spend the first couple of hours eating. That's what we did first. Then we would open our gifts from our Secret Santa. I think I've got a hair here. I do. And then after that, my mother's side of the family were so big into cards that after everything was opened, everybody was full, at least for the first round, they would start playing cards. God, this is going to be horrible. This is turning out horrible. Popular card games. No Mustang. We do not play euchre in Kentucky, although I have played euchre before. They would play, if anybody's heard of the game Spades, we would play a little Phase 10. We would play a little Shanghai Rummy, if anybody knows what that is. And then I think the funnest game that I would, or have played, funnest card game is, and bear with me here, I'm going to try to do, there's a stripe around this. I'm going to have to set this upright to begin doing this very carefully. So I'll show you as I make progress. A game called Hands and Feet. Hands and Feet requires 4 decks of cards, and you play with 4 people, and you play 4 hands of it, 4 rounds of it, and each round, has a hand, which you play first, 13 cards, and a foot, which is set off to the side, and you have to play into that. That took a while. That was a long game. My point is, instead of doing the fireworks like the other side of the family did, we played games after we finished with everything. And would play games, my goodness, I remember as children, we would play games until midnight or 1 o'clock before we would go home. But we enjoyed it. I enjoyed spending time with my cousins. Mom and Dad enjoyed spending time with my mom's family. So it was worth every bit of the time late at night that was spent. So usually we would go back home completely exhausted, bellies full of good food and good sweets. Get home, extremely late, but very, very satisfied. I did not do a great job there, did I? Goodness sakes. This looks like, I think a child could do better, but I'm going to keep persevering. Let's see, we've got our little mouth left. There's black here. See what we can do with this. And then when we got, so when I was a child, we would play games in the back of the house. And that could be, let me think, what was it? Oh, we had Operation, if you guys remember Operation. We would play Monopoly, still love Monopoly. Oh, Mousetrap. Does anybody remember Mousetrap? Played Mousetrap. when I was real little, Hungry Hungry Hippos. And what ended up happening was my family started bringing the games for the kiddos. So I would ask for a new board game just about every year and want to take it with me to Grandma's to play with the other kids. And I'm still that way to this day. I thoroughly enjoy playing games. Monopoly is still a favorite of mine. Julie and I will go over to her grandma's, which is my grandma now. She absolutely loves Scrabble, and we will play Scrabble until late into the evening. We've even been over there and spent the night for the sake of playing Scrabble late into the evening. And now that they have kind of adopted me as their own, I have brought my mom over, and she has taught them how to play some of the same card games that she played when she was younger. And so they're having a great time with that too. And Mom will still play late into the night if anybody will play cards with her. Well, this looks like an 8-year-old did it, and that's probably as good as it's going to get for me as I finish up here. But I'll do a little bit of touch up. So that I'm going to do a little star here, even though it's in black. Should I though? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. So it's been really nice to be able to blend family and have Julie's family enjoy some of the things that we did growing up. That's so nice. Okay, that star is not horrendous, but it's not great either. And of course, now that Jules and I are together and obviously adults, we have our own little traditions that we enjoy doing too. But the best times, of course, are with family. I think I'll make one more little setup here. I'll make this look like it belongs. Let's just put a little thread down here. Touch it up at the bottom. Yeah, I think that's about good enough. So I'll touch base with everybody and let you see how this comes out of the oven. But very simple. Like I said, I didn't want to get anything too long to take up, an hour of our time. But yeah, that's just a few of my favorite pastimes, my favorite Christmases, and what we enjoy doing on the holidays. And basically, if it involves family, we'll give it a go. So I will touch base with you guys once this comes out of the oven to show you the finished project. Otherwise, thank you for joining me today for this short little video. I hope you had a good day. I hope your families are happy and healthy. And a Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. We'll see you again probably tomorrow with another video. Have a good night, everybody. All right, so it is the next day. I turned my oven on from cold. I let it cure, I let it set, I took it out, and it looks no better. So that's what we're going to get today. Oh, it's like a 9-year-old art project. You can see being left on the oven rack. This is what we have. Well, anyway, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you again in another video tomorrow. Happy Vlogmas.